So today we're going to be predicting the top 5 in every single UFC weight class by the end of 2025. Starting off with the Flyweight division, we have got Pantoja starting off as the champion, obviously. He will end the year as the champion, obviously. Moving on to who I think is going to be number 1 contender, I've got Manel Kape. Now, Manel Kape, this guy is the biggest personality in the Flyweight division, and the Flyweight division is seriously lacking some personality. Manel Kape is booked to face Brandon Royval, who is currently ranked number 1 in the Flyweight division. I think it's a fight night main event in the Apex in March, I believe, is when this fight's taking place. And I think Manel Kape will beat him. Now, if Manel Kape beats Brandon Royval, makes weight comfortably for Flyweight, well, maybe not comfortably because he obviously struggles, but if he manages to make weight, that will be 2 back-to-back weight cuts he's made successfully. I think the UFC will try and push this guy on to get at least a title shot because he can sell a fight, and that's what a lot of these guys in the Flyweight division cannot do. Moving on to who I think is going to be number 2 is Brandon Moreno. Check out this guy's social media numbers. They are mega. I mean, let me get this shit off. They are mega. This guy is a big name. He does do commentary for the Spanish side of the UFC as well, I believe. I think he'll get a win over like Alex Perez, and because Brandon Royval will have lost, they'll kind of like bump him up, even though Moreno lost to Royval. The Flyweight division is really, really hard to predict because everybody's pretty much already fought everybody like multiple times. So, especially in the top 5 half, so it's kind of hard to book this division out, to be honest, but I think he is going to be number 2. Number 3 is going to be Brandon Royval. Like I said, he will lose to Manel Kape. He probably will have more than one fight this year, but like I said, this division is so hard to book. It just is. Moving on to number 4 is Kai France. This guy will fight Pantoja next, in my opinion.
Bruh.
I believe he is the toughest test for Pantoja in this division right now. Great takedown defense, great power, good striker. I think Kai France is going to give Pantoja problems, but I don't think he's going to beat him. He's going to remain number 4. And number 5, Tatsuro Taira. This guy can be a problem, but his striking,
Bruh.
this guy really needs to work on his striking. Let's move on to the Bantamweight division. Starting off, we've got Umar Nurmagomedov as champion.
But what the hell, boy?
Less said about this guy, the better. Let's move on. Number 1 will be Merab. Please beat Umar. Please. Please. Number 2 will be Sean O'Malley.
Bruh.
Sean O'Malley, I really want to see him fight Yan in a 5-rounder next. I don't think O'Malley will fight Yan in 5 rounds if it isn't for the title. Just don't think he's going to do that. Don't know why. Just don't think he will. Number 3 will be Petr Yan. He will remain in the number 3 spot. I think he's a really tough matchup for Umar Nurmagomedov, you know. I would really like to see that matchup. Moving on to number 4 is Deiveson Figueiredo. I think this guy is underrated in this division. Put up a good fight against Yan. Clearly lost, but hurt Petr Yan in there at times. Obviously, he dropped Marlon Chito Vera, beat him, beat former champion Cody Garbrandt, beat Rob Font. This guy does have good wins. I think he's a really tough matchup for who I have at number 5, which is Corey Sandhagen. I think he will be number 5 by the end of the year. I'm interested in seeing, though, is he going to go back down to flyweight or not? But that's what I think the Bantamweight division is going to look like. Let's move on to the Featherweight division. Now, I want to start off by saying I have made videos recently where I predict Ilia Topuria to be the lightweight champion.
Bruh.
But I don't know. I'm starting to backtrack a bit. I'm going to say he's going to be featherweight champion. We're going to leave it at that. He's going to be featherweight champion. Diego Lopez is going to be the number 1 contender in my opinion. Moving on to I think he's going to be number 2. The mighty Movsar Evloev.
Bruh.
I took a pause there because I was going to try and be really positive about this guy. No words came out. Let's move on. Number 3 is going to be Arnold Allen. I think he's going to beat Yair Rodriguez this year, and that's going to really boost him up the rankings. And then we have got, coming in at number 4, the Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling.
I need the max win.
This guy's the greatest UFC bantamweight of all time. I will die on that hill. Unless Murad beats Umar. Aljamain Sterling, I think he's going to get a big win. Either over... I was going to say Arnold Allen. Because he's called out Arnold Allen. But then he'd be above Arnold Allen in the rankings. So, do I want to hit myself with a 5-piece combination for being fucking retarded? Maybe. I think he's going to beat Brian Ortega this year. I think they're going to do that matchup. I know Ortega suggested moving to lightweight, but he's not a big name. He is still highly ranked. Don't know how. Yeah. Aljo's going to be number 4. And number 5 is going to be former interim champion Yair Rodriguez. Moving on to the lightweight division, we have got Islam Makhachev as champion.
Brother.
No one's beaten this guy at lightweight outside of Ilia Topuria if he moves up. And even then, I'm unsure if Ilia beats him. But Ilia Topuria is his toughest matchup. Moving on to who I think is going to be number 1 contender, I've got Max Blessed Holloway.
Bruh.
If you looked at how I booked out the year, I had him main eventing a pay-per-view against Oliveira for the BMF title. I think Max Holloway is going to really go on a run here in the lightweight division. I really do believe that. I think this guy is going to fight Islam Makhachev. Maybe, it depends if Islam really moves up and just abandons the lightweight division, then it might not happen. But he will be number 1 contender by the end of the year, in my opinion. Moving on to number 2 is who's going to be fighting Islam Makhachev next, and that is Arman Sarukian. He's going to lose to Islam Makhachev, in my opinion. And I think he's just going to remain at number 2. Obviously, he's beat Charles Oliveira. Be interesting to see. I would like to see him and Max Holloway maybe fight this year, but if Max beats Oliveira, defends the BMF title, Max is going to number 1. Just factual information. And I think Max beats Oliveira. Oliveira is going to be in at number 3, and number 4 is going to be Justin Gaethje. I know a lot of people are trying to be like different and edgy and pick Dan Hooker to beat Justin Gaethje. Gaethje's going to knock him out inside 2 rounds.
Bruh.
I'm just being honest. Gaethje's going to be number 4 unless he retires. And finally, number 5, Paddy the fucking Baddy, la. Paddy the fucking Baddy. He's going to be number 5. This is a bit of an outrageous take. It's either him or Moicano is going to be number 5. I'm going to put Paddy Pimblett in there because he replied to one of my TikToks. So, Paddy's going to number 5. Moving on, welterweight division. We have got Islam Makhachev as the champion.
Brother.
Moving on to who I think is going to be number 1, we have got Bilal Muhammad.
Who cares, man?
I think he beats Shavkat, loses to Islam this year. I'm calling it. I know they've trained. I know they say they're brothers, but like Habib said,
Who cares, man?
Islam's coming for that belt. In at number 2, I've got Leon Edwards. A lot of people might not agree with this take. He is fighting at UFC Fight Night London. Against who, we don't know yet. I think he is going to get a win there, whoever he faces, unless it's Sean Brady. If it's Sean Brady, skin me alive. Yeah, because I can't have a fucking guy be number 1 contender. I think he's going to beat either JDM. Don't cry in the comments. I think Leon beats him. Carlos Prates has been hinted at fighting him at UFC Fight Night London. I don't know, but either way, this guy's going to be number 2. Moving on to who I have at number 3, Joaquin Buckley.
Bruh.
This guy has a very strong chance of becoming champion. This guy beat Shavkat Rakhmonov. I'm telling you right now, this guy beat Shavkat Rakhmonov. Factual information, he beats Shavkat. He's number 3. Moving on to who I have at number 4, I've got JDM. I would like to see him fight Usman next. I thought that's what we were going to get at UFC 312, but the UFC just want to strip me of all my happiness, and we're not going to get that. But he's going to be number 4 at the end of the year. And finally, number 5, the aura merchant himself, Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Bruh.
I'm putting him at 5. He's going to lose to Bilal Muhammad and not fight again for the rest of the year. I'm calling it now. Let's move on. Middleweight division, we have got Hamzat Chimaev as the champion.
Brother.
I think he's going to beat DDP. I want DDP to beat him so bad. Like, so bad. But DDP was taken down and controlled by Derek Brunson, who, no disrespect to Derek Brunson, isn't a bad wrestler. But, like, come on, brother. I smash everybody, brother. He's winning. DDP is going to be ranked number 1, in my opinion. Number 2 is Robert Whittaker. I don't want to hear anybody tell me this guy's washed, because he's not. This guy is not washed. He will be number 2. He's going to beat Kyle Baralho this year. Maybe an Amavov in there. Maybe even a Sean Strickland. This guy will be number 2 by the end of the year, I believe. Number 3 is going to be Jab and Teep Boy, Sean Strickland. After he gets KO'd by DDP. It's going to be interesting to see him back headlining the Apex. Number 4, we have got Amavov.
Bruh.
He is going to lose to Israel Adesanya, but Adesanya is going to retire this year, I believe. So I'm keeping him at number 4. And finally, to round off this division, in at number 5, we've got Kyle Baralho.
Shamas.
Like I said, he's going to lose to Robert Whittaker this year. But with Adesanya retiring and stuff, he's going to be number 5. Mark my words. Moving on to the light heavyweight division, we've got Alex Pereira remaining champion. Another obvious one.
Shamas.
Even though he's scared, it looks like, to fight Ankalaev, he is going to beat him. He is going to beat him. Moving on to, I think, it's going to be number 1. This is kind of boring for light heavyweight, to be honest with you. It's going to be Magomed Ankalaev. He's going to be number 1. Let's move on. Number 2. Number 2, we've got Yuri Prohaska. Look, a lot of people might not agree with this. Yuri's beaten Jamal Hill at UFC 311.
Bruh.
I know people are like, he's a bit chinny now. He got smoked by Pereira twice. He got the shit kicked out of him by Rakic, but then came back. Jamal Hill is not focused on Yuri Prohaska. This guy is gagging, pause, for the Alex Pereira rematch. He's not focusing 100% on Yuri. Yuri will be dialed in. This guy wouldn't have even checked under the tree to see if Santos came this year. Because he's going to be so dialed in on fighting Jamal Hill. Yuri is going to be number 2. Moving on to number 3, it's going to be Jan Blachowicz, Polish Power. This guy's going to beat Carlos Oberg. This guy's going to be ranked number 3. This guy arguably got robbed by Alex Pereira. Number 4 is going to be Jamal Hill, coming off that loss to Yuri Prohaska. Might get a win over the likes of Khalil Roundtree, maybe. I know a lot of people kind of just can't get round Khalil Roundtree, and like they just are guying for him. Again, pause, no diddy. But I think Jamal Hill would beat him. Do I believe that? Yeah, I believe that. Number 5 is Rakic. This guy's underrated.
Bruh.
Lost to Magomed Ankalaev. He's one of the most technical fighters in the light heavyweight division. We'd love to see him make a run at heavyweight, to be honest. But he would beat Khalil Roundtree. He would beat Carlos Oberg, in my opinion. Very technical. He remains in the top 5. And let's move on to heavyweight. Champion is Tom Aspinall. Obvious. I don't think it's as clear cut him versus John Jones, but I think he is going to beat John Jones. I do believe that. This matchup comes down to a lot of timing. John Jones near the end of his career, Aspinall coming into his prime. Tom Aspinall, great boxer. He's explosive, heavy-handed, black belt in jiu-jitsu. But what I want to know is how is this guy's takedown defense, because John Jones will look to take him down. And he might have good jiu-jitsu, but how's he going to look whenever he's on his back and John Jones is pounding his shit? Pause. Major pause. What the fuck did I just say? Takes him down and is hitting him with elbows. That was suspect for me, but he's going to be number 1 this year.
I need the Max win.
Moving on to number 1, Tom Aspinall's going to be champion. Number 1 is going to be John Jones. He's going to lose to Tom Aspinall, but remain number 1. Moving on to who I have at number 2 is Ciryl Gane.
Bruh.
I know he lost to Volkov by ass punches in round 3, but Ciryl Gane's underrated. He really is. Moving on to who I have at number 3. It's Volkov. Moving on to who I have at number 4 is Curtis Blades. Put some respect on Curtis Blades. I know he got knocked out by Tom Aspinall in a round. I know he got thrown about by Jailton Almeida in round 1, but he saved us from Almeida. I know his IQ isn't there, non-existent, because he chooses to stay on the feet instead of wrestling these guys that are big punchers. but this guy deserves more respect. Number 4, and finally number 5. It's either Almeida or Pavlovich, but Almeida's going to beat Spivak, who's higher ranked than Jairzinho Rozenstruik. So I feel like he's going to end up being number 5. So yeah, that's how I think the UFC's top 5 in every division is going to play out. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Happy New Year to everybody. And let me know your predictions in the comments below.